County business, we're gonna move on to item number 11, discussing the jail committee.
The prisoner count as of yesterday was 42. The administrator is operating as the tower operator and jailer to cover for a jailer that's on vacation. And they don't have any problems up there that's major. Continuously small problems, but major in good condition in general. Wanted to ask about, I'm sorry, let me correct that, prisoner count's 44. Wanted to ask the commissioners about what we were going to do about the debt. If we continue to put the half-cent in there, when will we start saving to be able to make our April 1st, 2017 payment? We started out that if we started paying the debt in April 2016 or accumulating on the half-cent for a shortcoming, we would have been saving $51.67 per month. Since that's when it passed, currently we start saving $7,750 per month. And to make this understandable by all, if you take the total amount of the debt divided by the months left in the year, that's going to tell you what the payment's going to be. So, as I've warned you before, this payment will have to be met, and we need to start accumulating money and raising money to pay for it. And we need to set it aside instead of waiting until the last minute and get ourselves in a crunch again like we did in 2014 and also in 2015. We got out of 2014 by borrowing another $450,000 to make payment on debt. We cannot stand to do that again. So we've got to look at this in a manner that's going to suffice and service this debt. So with that being said, I guess I'm going to request the board to make a motion to start. Bart, if you've got something to say, I know your time schedule's quick, I can.
You've got just a few minutes.
Commissioners, would you like to let Farley speak? And then
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah, that's fine.
Everybody okay with that? Farley's got a very busy schedule.
Well, I hate that, but that is true. Judges delaying the calling of docket so I could be here. And it's my understanding the commissioners requested me to be here to explain the letter that I had prepared at their request. Originally, they had asked that I put in writing the research that I had previously done for them, where they had asked if a sales tax to generate revenue to pay for the debt service on the jail and for the operation of the jail could fall under the terminology of economic development. And there is case law that supports that. And so I was going to put that in the letter for them. And in the process, I decided I'd better look at the authority under which the request for the sales tax was asked. The resolution referred to Article 10, Section 35 of the Oklahoma State Constitution. That provision allows the Board of County Commissioners to ask the voters to give consent to the issuance of bonds for purposes of economic development. And if the voters grant their approval at an election, then the bonds are paid for either by a sales tax or a millage increase or revenue source that really isn't applicable to what we're dealing with here, or a combination of any of those three things. Well, the commissioners in the resolution are not asking for voters to approve a bond issuance. They're asking for the straight sales tax. So, not putting blame on anyone, the fact remains that that's not the proper procedure. They could have, and the letter explains, and most likely they intended, to ask for the sales tax under Title 68, Section 1370, which allows them to ask for a sales tax as long as it has a designated purpose. Again, there's a broad range of purposes by which, and some of those are included in the letter. But anyway, the voters, because of the resolution language for the June 28th ballot, have not been given the ability to approve the issuance of bonds, which that legal authority grants. They're asked to approve a sales tax, so it's just not the proper procedure. So I don't see any way for that to proceed on the June 28th ballot. Now, the commissioners would still have time to ask for a later vote under the Section 1370 sales tax provision if they chose to do so. But I don't see any way for it to proceed at this next election.
Well, I thank you for your explanation.
Okay, all right.
Pardon me, or did you just become aware of this? I mean, because I know you was in on helping us draft this, this for the ballot and signed off on it, approved by Party Ward.
Yeah, the morning that I was asked to help with the drafting of the resolution and the wording of the ballot, I had another busy morning. But I set that aside, went down to the commissioner's office to help the two ladies who had been given the assignment to prepare the resolution and the wording of the ballot. And the forms they had referred to Article 10, Section 35. So again, I didn't have time to go do the research. I just assumed that that was the authority the commissioners had asked to follow because that was the forms they had to use. My mistake for thinking that.
So, as our legal counsel, what do you advise us to do at this point? Or what can we do, or what should we do?
Well, there was the possibility of amending the resolution if there was enough time to then also publish the notices that are required by law prior to the June 28th election, but there's not enough time to do that. So at this point, I would suggest that you announce to the public that even though that is on the ballot, that you're not asking them to
I talked to Rhonda. She's supposed to give me an answer on
whether that could be.
Well, what we're gonna do, so, I mean, I know we're gonna do something, I just haven't got the answer back yet.
Got it. And then decide what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, but she's gonna give me an answer, that she will.
All right, any other questions?
Yes. Yeah. With the existing jail authorities that set up have the authority to ask for the additional tax pursuant to the new
Under,
or would we need to develop that authority as outlined in the provision?
which one are you referring to, Mr. Mauser?
Well, where it says it would require a regional economic development authority or regional district pursuant to the provisions of the section. I'm just thinking, I'm pretty sure they have the authority to do it as they're set up today, don't they?
Well, you had referred to the jail authority.
Right.
And so there's technically an advisory committee that I think everyone refers to as a jail authority. But there's also the authority put in place way back in '05
Correct.
for the physical facilities, you know, the issuance of the bonds. So I didn't know which one of those you were referring to.
Well, I guess the one that we created in '05 when we initially started the jail, I guess they have the authority to, we wouldn't have to do anything in addition. In other words, we're ready to go if they decide we want to pursue the additional tax.
Yes, or,
Okay.
or the commissioners on their own could ask. for
Okay,
that.
good enough.
Donald?
Yes, sir. My question is, can we use general county money to pay that debt? I have not got an answer from the one auditor. Do we need to, seek an attorney general's opinion? Everything I've read does not, what quarter cent sales tax says for general county government. And I wonder about the debt.
I think
There's a different cap.
that's a valid question, and yes, there is time to ask for an attorney general's opinion. Certainly that can be done. And in the research I did, it wasn't for that specific
Right, that's a
question, but in my research, I didn't find anything that answered that one way or the other. But I certainly would be glad to do further research, but we certainly also have time to ask for an attorney general's opinion.
So who wrote the resolution?
It was a combined effort of one of the women from Mr. Nolan's office, and then the young woman that offices here in the courthouse, and me.
Okay. And who told them what statutes to use? Like, where did they come up with the statutes?
I don't have an answer to that.
Okay.
Well, I guess, appreciate you coming down.
Okay, all right. Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments before we proceed?
None on my part.
Bring us back to the point of urgency to either commit to put the 3/4% in as been agreed upon to secure the loan, the junior loan that we agreed to do to the bank, or take the avenue of continuing on like you have been, paying the half-cent into escrow, and then making up the shortage.
But Randy, to answer your question, once again, that's something, I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I should. I've been told I would have an answer by Monday.
Paul, we've been going on about answers and
This
questions.
is a different situation. That's what Paulie referenced to, about the 1/4% sales tax. Because in my research.
Let me just say this, you made a pledge to the bank to
Correct.
secure that debt.
I
with
agree.
that 1/4%.
Agreed, Randy. No argument, agreed. But everybody knows the county cannot go in debt. That's common knowledge. That's why trust authorities are set up. And on the ballot that we voted on as people of Haskell County, plain states for county use only, county government. And when we get the opinion, I don't think we can legally put that to give that to the trust authority to pay for the jail, because that trust authority is not part of the county, because if they were, they couldn't have went in debt. Now, I may be wrong. I'm not telling you either way. I'm just saying I should have an answer Monday. That's all I'm saying. So if it is deemed legal, Randy, for us to put the 1/4% in there, the jail will be paid for, no problem. I mean, to pay for the jail, we'll put it in there because that's what the law says we have to do.
Did you have something to say, Karen?
I said that would be a problem.
Well, what I'm saying, Paul, is that we've talked about this since the first paycheck, when we got the payment made. And what I'm saying, and I'm trying to get everybody to recognize, is that every month that we don't start setting aside funds for this, or start paying the 3/4%, then it's going to make it a bigger and bigger problem the further we get into the year to come up with the money to make the debt. And I've asked the commissioners multiple times to either start setting money aside so that we've got a count on it, so that everybody in the county is assured that this debt will be serviced at the end of the year and we won't have another disaster.
Randy, could I, just as an observer, I've made several meetings. One, that jail payment is not on the FY
time frame. Last year's budget started in July and it runs to the end of this month. I do not believe that you can legally go back and change that situation to start doing something in April that doesn't change until the FY. Now that's my opinion, and I'm not a
My
lawyer.
answer to you is Max, we have done a lot of things in this county that weren't to standards and to laws.
I won't deny that, but
Lots of them.
it's,
Now, when it comes down to making a effort to accumulating the money to make this debt, I'm not saying that we may accumulate this debt and not have to have it if we apply the full 3/4%. The only thing I'm saying is, we have already went through 3 months of not collecting or setting aside, and every month that we go by, this amount goes up, which makes it harder and harder to reach that goal
I understand
by
that.
$1,100 or $1,200 per month.
I understand that.
So, and I understand what you're saying, but right now, it's been a free-for-all, all these years up here of what we did and how we did it. And now we want to start getting technical on what is supposed to be spent or not spent. And it's just like Paul, he assigned the 1/4 sales tax to service the debt. Now we're having a question whether that was even legal or not. It's all coming to a head, but what I'm saying is regardless of what it's coming to, the county has an obligation to make this debt payment. And what I'm trying to do is figure out ways to have it there when whether it's fundraisers or county money or personal donations or whatever it is. We've got to address this and we've got to pay attention to it, and we can't wait till the last hour like we did in 2014 and 2015.
I understand.
And
I believe that the situation can change at the 1st of July, at the beginning of the fiscal year, and then the new budget is set. I think we're kind of in limbo in these 3 months.
there's no
and-
reason to be in limbo unless you put it there.
If my statement is, if y'all have knowledge of illegal things, then do your duty and point those out. I can say it all day long if I want to, without any proof. But if you got proof that
Well, do you have proof that that's illegal?
I do not
Well, okay.
accept,
This is a general conversation about, and I've made this clear before, is we're not trying to split sides or anything else. Our goal here, and we should all be focused in the same direction, is to how do we service this debt. This debt belongs to Haskell County. That is everybody in this room and everybody in this county. So we need to, as a group, not as a split party or different opinions or different ideas or what, we need to all work towards addressing this problem. And if we don't do that, if we keep throwing these things out, these roadblocks or reasons to not do this or not do that. And what I did say early on in all of this, and if you've been in these meetings, you will know this, that I've said that if we save this money and it's not spent on the debt, then it can always be put back in the general fund.
I agree, except I don't know that you can change a fiscal year budget in the middle of the
Yeah,
spring.
we can't spend the money twice.
So that's my point.
And then you can, after, if you started saving in April, you could have decided at budget setting time whether you were gonna use that money or not use it.
I'm not sure you could, but
If you're
that's
not sure, then
our
you need to
opinion.
research it and find out.
We've asked several people, and they can't, we've asked auditors and everybody. and they-
Okay, then
They
if
said
then
that we
if
could-
we're up in the air about it, do you agree that we've got the debt that we have
I
to
agree
service?
with that, but I don't want to do it, put it in there if it's illegal. What'd they tell you, Gail?
They told me that they didn't know if it was legal to put it in there or
I
not.
think
And
I would
I'm not
have
putting it
to.
in there until someone tells me it is legal.
I
That's,
I think I'll have an answer on that Monday. They told me I would, now whether I will or I won't, they just said I would have an answer. But they said Wednesday, that's tomorrow.
Well,
Randy, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
We are up with our payments. We are not behind on a payment at this point in time. We have made a payment when we paid up in the end of April. We have made the end of March. We made all of the April payment. We've made all of the May payment, and we've got the money to make the June payment. We are not behind on a payment at this point in time. Because we had extra money in there when we put the sale of county property money in there to make the end of March payment. We had enough money left in there that we have made the payment every month through this month. So we are not behind on a payment at this point in time.
but, are we,
Probably next month, if something don't
There
get
we go.
settled on the quarter
I
cents,
said
what we
I
have to
will-
do.
But we should
I was-
know something on
I
that.
was
We should
told I
know
would have an
something by
answer
then.
for
It's
tomorrow.
legal or not.
okay, well then
Can I
let's,
ask something? I started out asking a question some time back. I said, if this tax didn't pass, do you have any backup plans? What are you gonna do? And I was told, no worry, you know, the tax is gonna pass. Well, here now, we've gone on a few months. Now we're told that you can't do that tax. So where's your backup plan? I mean, you're not even listening to him.
Are you not listening to me? I told you I'd have an answer Monday.
Well, but you've told
About
me
the
that so many
4%.
times.
Well, ma'am, I'm telling you. I've called the Attorney General's office. I'm getting an opinion on this, if it's legal or not to use that 1/4%. And if it is, in my opinion, I'm willing to put it in there and pay for the jail.
Well, let me ask you
And I'm gonna tell you
something.
something, there ain't one commissioner up here that done his dead level best. If somebody done better, maybe so. But we've done our best, and you know, throwing these accusations around, I don't know about Marvin and Clark. But,
Well,
you
I'm
know,
not accusing you of anything.
I know what you keep saying.
But
I have listened to Randy, and I appreciate the advice Randy has given me, and Randy's not all wrong.
well, if you
but I'm
knew you
just
were
saying.
having this meeting this morning, like yesterday, Farley didn't show up. If you knew you were having this meeting this morning, why hadn't you already discussed all this and had it ready for this
Discuss
meeting?
what?
Well, whoever this is you're going to talk to
I,
Wednesday.
because when you call to get legal opinions, they just don't give them to you like buying a movie ticket.
No, I know they don't,
Okay,
but you
then she
start
said
far
it.
enough ahead so that you got it ready for
Have
whatever
you ever tried to
you're
get a hold
coming
of an auditor or the Attorney General's office?
I beg your pardon?
Have you ever tried to get a hold of one of them?
Yes, I have.
Well, sometimes it's tough.
Yes,
Can I
sir.
make a statement? When did you find out that this vote was not legal?
I found out Friday, about
Friday. When
3:30.
have you had a chance to start calling good?
I know.
When? Monday morning?
Monday morning, and I
There's your
called.
time, but he hadn't had
I
time.
mean, I don't understand. I'm like, I mean, maybe it's just the seat I'm sitting in, but I feel like everybody's throwing rocks at us. Hey, we're doing what we can, and we're going. We should. The woman told me we would have an answer Monday.
That's
And that's tomorrow.
Then we find out it's not legal, so he's doing as fast as he can to get anything done.
But he,
And if it isn't, is, and Randy knows it, he's been it before, Tom Merlot, we know it. If we pay that 3/4%, the other 1/4% toward the jail debt, the county is not gonna be able to survive long term. And Steve, a lot of people studied this out and they know it to be true. And that's my opinion.
Hey, like I said,
We got to have more money.
well, either that or you got to manage what money there is better.
you know, I've looked at that, Randy.
Well, you haven't shown it
Yes.
to any of us.
Well, that's not. Well, that's another thing I was gonna say. Anytime you wanna go over it, you get with me and we'll go over it. Anytime you get ready, you and I personally will go
I've
over
been
it.
here every Monday except for a
Okay.
couple since we started.
That's true.
I've asked repeatedly for exact amounts of cost. I've asked for projections on how much it costs to operate a facility. the sizes that we have, I've never seen anything other than it's about 30,000 a month. That does not cut it. We need factual figures that are dedicated to what the actual costs are to operate that facility.
Well, I showed Rick a deal, and
No,
itemized.
you showed him a deal that he showed you 2 days earlier.
Right, that's true.
And
I
it
asked,
does not have, how much is the insurance cost for the jail? It does not have all the facts in it. We have got to have all the numbers, and we've got to do this in a joint manner. We have not ever been allied to where we're working together to make this happen.
now, Rick, didn't they use that in the court of law up there? The judge used it to determine what it costs to keep a prisoner?
That's what they said, but it's not accurate.
I won't argue that with you, but that's what a judge used.
Okay, I don't care if it's in a court of law, or anybody in this room cares if it's in a court of law. What we care about is getting actual figures and compiling this together and work at this together.
Well, I know you're a busy man. and
I'm not that busy.
Okay, when you get ready, you and I'll come up here and we'll get every number you want.
And you couldn't have done that in the last 7 or 8 months.
Didn't we have a meeting where you guys met with the excise board for several hours to go over all the numbers? Did you never do
I'll get
anything
them
out
for you.
of that?
Then the excise board said after they agreed that they were correct, 2 hours later in the meeting, they said they were not. The numbers that they gave us.
Well, I'm just
The
saying,
numbers
Randy,
come from Karen's office, and that's what we run on, so how could they not be correct?
Well, I'm just telling you what your excise board member told us.
Well, we had a CPA come in and run the numbers, and y'all disagreed with him, certified public accountant, that does the county's numbers.
does 9 counties.
Well, I agree that he came in, but he only has facts of what he's given. And we didn't agree that those were accurate.
Well, Randy,
Do you have anything
anytime.
to say, Gail?
Yeah, I probably do.
Good.
Where are they supposed to get their numbers? If they're not, none of these numbers are accurate. There's only numbers to get these, places to get these numbers from Karen's office or my office. We ballots, we agree. So where do you want numbers from?
I'm gonna read you something out of the audit that was done to the county. It says, recommendation. Management should immediately correct the allocation calculations being used to split the sales tax revenues received each month so the authority receives the full amount pledged to sales tax revenues as well as remit the amount of the additional sales tax owed to the authority as of June 30th, 2015. Per the financial statements, management should also calculate and remit to the authority the amounts of additional sales tax revenue owed since 2015. We have not got those figures yet. And as far as the operational cost of the jail, where's the insurance come out of?
We're under the umbrella of the whole thing.
What portion goes to the jail?
That's gonna be hard to say because,
No, it's not gonna be hard
yeah,
to
it
say.
is too, Randy, because it's all went up, it's skyrocketed this year. I don't know what the numbers are gonna be, we haven't got it yet, but it's gonna be a lot more than it was last year, because I've talked to other commissioners.
What I'm saying, Paul, is that we are basically been spinning our wheels for the last 7 months and not getting anywhere. And when we've tried to work with you and suggest things, it's been deterred or pushed back or forgot about or not answered.
Well, that's a matter of opinion, but I'm just telling you, Randy, right here, anytime you wanna come up here, I'll stay with you 10, 15 hours a day, doesn't matter to me. And we'll get what you want. However, I mean, whatever it takes.
Well, that's fine, and we'll make an attempt to do that. I don't know if you'll need to be present or not, but we will make an attempt in the near future.
Well, if you need any assistance from me, I'll be available.
My question still goes back to, regardless if it's technically legal or technically not legal, the county has an obligation. And we've got to face this obligation. We've got to quit talking about it. We've got to start doing something about it. If you just set aside the money to meet this shortfall, if you continue to put the half cent in, we're gonna be short about $62,000, is that correct, Gail?
For the year,
That's what you gave me.
maybe for the year, I don't remember what I gave you.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna run about $10,000 short a month, is what it's gonna run, the payment is. With just the half-cent sales tax, that's what it's running right now,
Is this your handwriting?
probably, looks like it.
It is, I can vouch for it, you wrote it out in front of me. If the half-cent sales tax is put in, you had a payment of $562,850. And
That was-
the payment, I believe, is actually $534. But the collected last year on half-cent was $501,221, which leaves using this calculation, leaves a shortcoming of $62,000 in rough numbers. And that's the only thing that I'm trying to do here is that if we start doing something about it now, we don't have a train wreck next April, or December, or January, or February, when we start getting faced and getting pressure. Because right now, we can make attempts to start collecting money and saving it. And if it comes out of the general, if it comes from contributions, or it comes from anywhere else, that money can all be given back if it's earmarked. If it came out of the general to meet this, and something else happens, or you get an answer to your question, whether it's legal or not, at this point in time, it really doesn't matter if it's legal or not. We need to start saving for it. If it's not legal to put the quarter in, you understand what I'm saying?
I'm not, yeah, but I understand.
Okay, if it is determined that it was not legal to put that $0.25 in, you're still gonna be back to the $62,000 a year shortcoming. All I'm saying is whether it's not, whether it is, whatever, let's start bracing ourselves for it. It's just like, we didn't know whether or not the sales tax was gonna pass. Well, I think we've got an affirmative answer now that it's probably not because of the technicalities. Well, now, instead of saving $5,100 a month, we're gonna be saving $7,700 a month.
No, we're not, Randy. We talk about this every week, and I don't mean to disagree with you. Just, I don't have 4 or 5 hours to explain the county budget, but that is not technically right, because when we set the county budget, once again,
I've heard this many
then we've not,
times,
you haven't been
everybody
here
else-
since we've set a budget, Randy. Monday, we will know if we can put the 1/4% in there. We should, is what she told me. And if she says, yes, it's legal, well, the 1/4%'s gonna go in there. The jail's paid for it. And if it's not, then when we set our budget, then we can do that. Does that make sense, Bobby? You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then that's why we answer this question every week.
But my big question is the bondholders, in their 214 refinancing, we
Yeah,
allocated 4%. And that's why they signed the agreement, because we agreed to deposit 3/4 cent. Let me finish.
I'm not saying
In the
that.
account, once the debt was satisfied, the surplus could be used for maintenance and operation. Not general county purposes, but for M&O on the jail alone.
On a monthly
On a monthly basis.
Yes.
So the entire 3/4 was dedicated. So we've got 2 issues here. One is, did the commissioners have the authority to do it?
Correct.
If so, great. If not, what are we gonna do to satisfy the bondholders if they tell us that we can't withhold that additional?
I know,
4%?
but I appreciate that comment, but
That's my answer to your
But
question.
I know, and I agree, Randy, we have to do something. I don't think anybody here is gonna argue that. I'm just saying, like we was told by the CPA, that money is budgeted, we can't spend it twice. Come July 1st next month, when we do set the budget, we can put that money aside, or if we have it, or put the 1/4% in, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, and I'm not saying we won't do it.
This conversation has been heard over and over and over. In April, I asked you to do this, we asked you to do this then. And if you were gonna wait to get an answer of whether or not it's legal to do it. Why didn't you do it back then so we could have some kind of remedial action to take and address this? We can't just keep pushing it down the road and wait and think something great's gonna happen. It's a fact, and we've got to have some answers, and we've got to start doing something about it. Now, none of us here, I've said this many times, point any fingers or any fault. All we need to do is we've got to start working together and get a team effort instead of being split. And if somebody else comes up with a good idea, you want to listen to that idea and then make a judgment call on it, whether it's usable or not. Whether it's you, me, or anybody else in this room, we are all in this together. It's coming off our backside no matter what.
That's true, Randy. I mean, we're all in this together. And like I say, I'm not running your idea down. I'm just saying it needs to start July 1st, not with the budgeted money, not.
The answer that you're waiting for Monday,
I should have.
4 months later, should have been asked last April 1st.
Now we're pointing fingers.
No,
Yes,
I'm
we
just
are.
saying that it should have been done back then.
Let's just go on with what we're dealing with now, okay?
Anyway,
We're paid up to
Thank
date.
you for
Yes, we are.
interrupting, Steve.
I'm sorry, Randy, but I can talk to at this meeting. We're paid up to date.
Yes, we
We'll
are.
be paid up to the first of
First
the
of
month.
July, right.
First of the month. At that point, we'll have the 9 months to collect the 63,000 or two or whatever it is, roughly 62,000. Is
The
that
most
correct?
important thing is our physical year will be starting over.
Correct.
And then,
At that point.
and I'm
you
not
can
knocking, that's a good
put it
idea
in.
Randy has, I'm just saying it needs to, you can't, like we was told by the CPA, you can't spend the money twice. When we start over July 1st,
And that's
That
been
could be an
answered,
option.
You've answered Randy that for every meeting I've been to, that you can't pay this twice.
I don't understand what we're talking about spending it twice when we've got a carryover in a general fund. I don't know what it is this year.
I don't either.
And, the shortcomings in the past has come out of the general fund, is that not true?
The shortcoming to pay the jail debt?
Yes.
I don't think so. We wouldn't be refinancing.
They were up until 2014.
Where did the sale of the property, money get
Well,
deposited
sell the
into?
property.
It went in the general fund, right? And it was transferred over? What's the difference? I don't understand the general fund, the excess in the general fund, whether it be budgeted or not, it's still for general use of the county, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So I don't understand what the legalities of
Well, right
making a
now-
payment out of it is.
Well, we always balance our books, so the state of, all counties, state of Oklahoma balances the books. When they just start doing that in July, we shut down. And then is that when we get the actual carryover number?
When they do the budget.
When they do the budget, then we would know right now. I don't know if anybody knows the carryover that we get.
And that won't be until
Not
September,
until they do a budget.
After they do a budget.
in September.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not knocking Randy's idea, I think it's a good idea. But when we start in September, if we do that idea, we will have the money to do that. And we can implement his idea. And everything will be good. That's the reason I'm not knocking Randy's idea. I'm just saying the timing of it. That's all I'm saying.
And the reason that we could use the money from the property that was sold and we could transfer it over is that money was never budgeted. That we just collected that money. It was not in our budget for this year. So we transferred it over to make that payment.
I just curious why the auditor recommended that we should immediately make the change.
Because I did ask the auditor that, I called him.
Yeah.
He said he was just going by what he was handed. He didn't know if it was legal or not. He said all I went by is what I was handed. Because I did call him.
So in this audit, when he recommended that you guys immediately correct it and put everything in there, if you didn't feel that was right, why was your response that you concur with him?
saying,
When he put in the audit that you needed to be putting that money in there, if you guys didn't feel that that was right, why did
I don't know if
you,
it's right or it's wrong.
why did you concur with him? I mean, why didn't you say we're,
That's when I started checking in on it. And like I say, maybe I'm a little slow about getting around, but you know, hey, I'm supposed to have the answer tomorrow.
We asked the auditors 3 weeks ago, and they said they'd give it to us in a week, and they ain't got back to us yet.
this was in April.
I mean, I don't know what this deal with taxes was or not.
Well, anyway,
Can I have another question? Do we
Yes,
have any
ma'am.
idea how much the printing of the ballots and the publishing in the newspaper has cost us for this election that now we are not going to be able to have?
Rhonda's, I talked to her last night, she's supposed to be getting that. And I asked her to be here today, but she could not be here. I was hoping she could answer those questions for you, but
Well, ballots were being printed anyway, so I'm sure it'll be minimal. Just to
But
add
you had
that.
to print an extra ballot for this.
No, it's on the same ballot.
Everything was on the same ballot.
But anyway, I'm-
The ballots have to be changed.
No,
I-
too late to change them, the done people voted on it.
or Rhonda,
Done people voted absentees, done voted on it.
I know that, I'm one of them.
I've asked the election board that whether the ballots that are already in will be valid, and they said originally they said that they would, not certify the election. It was just, they didn't understand there was multiple things on the ballot. That only the way I understood her to tell me, that originally they said that they wouldn't certify it for the increased tax, that portion. Then they found out there was more on the ballot, so they haven't got an answer on that yet. But it seems simple that they would just not count that portion of the ballot.
once again, Rhonda is checking in. She's checking with them on the state level. I asked her to be here, but she could not be here. She said things.
I've got another question about the junior loan. We all, in the past, thought we were working together here on this junior loan, and then commissioners decided to go out for a half-cent sales tax, which kind of set things back a little bit as to what the committee was trying to accomplish. So I'm going to ask this question now. We still have a debt there of $398,000 that's going to come due in 8 years.
I've got your
I
answer.
want to remind you of one thing before we move too far away from this, is that the bondholders, it's in the bondholders book, that if the bank or the bondholders feel that we have not done our part, they can call those bonds. And that means then we're gonna have to seek financing somewhere else. So this is why we need to, if we make an agreement with the bank who manages the bonds for the bondholder owners, we need to stay in touch with them and keep them posted as to what we're doing and how we're doing it, and what our attempts are. And our relationship has not been good with them in the past, as stated by them. So, with that being said, keep that in mind, that we are jeopardizing our standings with the bank and the bondholders to the state. Even though our payments are current, we've still not did what we agreed to do. So, with that being said, it comes back to the junior loan that's going to be due.
Randy, pardon me.
Excuse me.
I'd
I'll
like
sit
to
down just a
ask
minute.
I-
you
Sit down
one
just a
question.
minute.
I was gonna ask
Hold on
you
to
one
it.
question
Jot
on
it
what you
down.
were stating.
I
What
got-
haven't they been doing?
Let's stay. I appreciate both y'all. We just one at a time, please. Now,
So,
go
with that being said, does the commissioners want us to continue to try to put the county board back together to try to take possession and ownership of the so-called McCurtain property for resale and apply that to the junior debt.
I've already discussed. I have no problem with that.
2 or 3 months
Yeah,
ago.
but
before
you
man.
didn't tell us that you were going out for a sales tax either.
I mean, you was right where
And
the
then
meeting.
Clark told me that he didn't think we ought to sell the land, so we've had mixed signals here, and I'm trying to clarify that.
Personally, I have no problem with it. That's my vote.
The only reason that I wouldn't want to sell the land is if we didn't have to sell the land. You understand? I mean, if we was able to get a tax of some kind to service his debt, but
Does that
I'm
answer
not,
your question?
I'm not against selling the land. to help pay
Okay,
this
so
debt.
let me ask this question again to the commissioner. Do you want the committee to proceed with trying to take ownership of that property for resale to put it on the junior loan payment?
Yeah, I answered that on my behalf. I'm just one vote.
Okay, I'm asking the other two.
I answered you last time you asked me that
Yeah,
question.
I'm all right.
Okay.
I was voting for it.
All right, so being stated. And to answer your question, Steve,
Hang on, please, Randy, I didn't get to hear his question. What's your question?
I'm just asking, what have y'all done that's made the banks and the bondholders upset with y'all? That's
No.
it, Randy made, I'm just curious what they haven't done, Randy.
they agreed to apply 0.75% to the debt, and they
Okay.
have not done that.
That's what you're saying that they disagree with.
Exactly.
Okay.
No,
Now,
they agree.
They applied it. I understand. Is it legal to apply it? Now, this is the
No, they
question.
didn't
now.
apply.
They didn't apply.
They did not apply it,
Did not
but they
apply.
agreed to apply it.
They agreed to apply it, but did not apply
We,
it.
if you read the statement, that's true. We agreed to apply it. If you read it, it says if needed, yes, the 4% has to go to make up the difference.
Apply to differ, the bond agreement doesn't say if needed.
Well, I'm
It
talking about
says
the agreement we
We
signed.
pledged the
Correct.
entire 0.75%. Now, I'll have to go back and look at the budgeting times, but I'm guessing that after the agreement was signed, the commissioners budgeted the 0.25% to the general fund as opposed to budgeting. I'm looking at Tom, instead of budgeting it to the jail fund. So to answer your question, they made a conscious decision not to put the money where it was committed when they had the opportunity to do it.
That's all right.
And the reason we did that,
Is that correct, Tom?
your jail would not, you wouldn't have any jailers out there.
I understand
But
that.
doesn't it say if needed on the quarter?
You wouldn't need all the quarter to make up the escrow, you need just about half of it. Because if you'll talk to Gail, Bank First is not, if she puts all that quarter over there, they're not gonna take all that quarter, are they, Gail? They're gonna take a
No, she
portion
told
of
me
it.
they was not.
They're just gonna
They
take the
wanted
portion
payment,
needed
that
for
was
the
it.
escrow.
Any excess would be given back to the
That's
county
what it-
for maintenance and operation of the jail,
Right.
not general fund.
I don't, maintenance and operation, I don't know the wording after that.
I believe it said M&O for the jail.
It does say that,
Yeah.
because that's what it's dedicated for, started.
So that's just my only issue.
And like I said, Rick, if it's deemed legal for us to do that, well, let's do it. And let's do it.
But, hey, Bobby, one point there, you said for maintenance operation, the ballot of that quarter was for maintenance and operation of the county on the ballot.
That's what I'm saying,
I don't know if
Well, that goes back to the bigger question. though.
yes, it's back to the original question,
Yeah.
what you can do with it if it's on the ballot like that.
Yeah, I'm treating the two separate.
Yes.
We had the proposition on the ballot, and subsequent to that, we made an agreement with the bondholders.
Yes.
that-
I don't know if that supersedes the direction of the original ballot or not, some legal authority is
That's a
on
$1
that.
million question.
Yes.
So we're at an impasse till we find that out, really.
We have several questions that we need the AG to answer for us.
Well, I've asked him 2 or 3 questions besides that one. And like I said, she told me she would let me know Wednesday. If they do or not, that's yet to be seen. I'll know tomorrow.
Well, the big question, and Tom,
Sure.
would the big question not be if the AG comes back and says that the commissioners did not have the authority to dedicate that additional 0.25%?
It's not that, it's pledge. There's a
Pledge,
difference.
agreed.
Yeah.
Semantics of legal terms, it's different.
Yes.
If they were to say that we didn't have the ability to pledge, it still would put us in violation of the bond agreement.
Correct.
And we'd have to determine how the bondholders would treat us going forward.
What remedy they would, if they would have a remedy or what, that would be a
So
legal question.
that's even a bigger question.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna find all that out sooner or later.
Okay, so are we gonna shoot for another sales tax after we get all this legal
That's-
mumbo jumbo straightened out, or?
On my behalf, and I'm just one vote, no, not after this right here. I don't think I will, because, you know, when he signed that and told us it was right, and there's a signature, and then right before the election, you know, personally, I don't think I will, but I could be outvoted. And so you can ask those two.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Well, one more thing, and then I'll shut up. We got the first of the month coming up. We're not long in, so we're paid up. But the first of next month, we need to decide how you're gonna start paying this, correct, Randy?
I agree.
No later. I mean, I agree with Randy that something's gotta be started next month.
And that's what I've been saying, Steve, for
Right.
several
I understand
months.
you, yeah.
I don't disagree with Randy or you or anybody else.
But we're down to now, something's got to be done. The fiscal year's over, we're starting new
But
fiscal
July
year.
1st, yeah.
Right.
Paul, starting next month, will there be that funding there to save that 7,000?
No, we'll set the budget, if it's legal, put the 4% in, like I said, keep saying, we'll put the 4% in, the problem solved.
But no problem's not solved.
Well, for the jail. We won't have it, we will not have any jailers. We have mold running rampant in our courthouse because the pipe's busted on that 50-year-old heater we have. And Randy, you asked the question if we worked on it. Well, my answer to you is yes, it's 50-year-old. We've worked on it every year. So now, we only have the main supply of central heat and air for the courthouse because people are working in mold. So you know, it's time, we're gonna make some tough decisions
And the
made.
condition of this courthouse has been the same for the last 20 years.
Well, no, I don't think it's
But
worse. It's worse,
I think
Randy.
it's worse. I do too. I agree with that. Nothing gets better if you don't fix it, but you gotta fix it every month. You can't just wait every 10, 12 years. But to go on with this, Clark, I wanted to explain something to you, and the urgency that the committee feels about the junior loan. Right now, we're paying $2,164, I believe that's the correct number, in interest. If we run that out the term, the county is gonna dispose of $201,000 worth of interest. Therefore, we feel like that it's of ultimate concern to get that debt paid off and stop that hemorrhaging of that $200,000 out of the county. And that's why I'm asking this at this time, where we need to go, what direction we need to move, because that is our intent, is to get that junior loan paid off before we sit here and pay all that interest out. Plus, we have got to come up in 2024, if we don't get it paid for, with $925,000.
I understand.
And that's the, you know, I mean, I wanted you to make sure that you understood why we were pushing to try to get that done.
Okay, I guess I'm thick-headed. I'm sorry. I'm lost. 3 months ago, we had to have this sales tax to survive. We wrote it out wrong. It's not going to happen, and now we don't need it. What changed?
I'm gonna tell you something. Yes, you will see it within a year to 2 years. Yes, you will see it. Hey, I'm through talking about it, but you just stay in Haskell County for another couple of years, and you'll see it. I mean, Kerry Patton's told us that. Well, I ain't even gonna go there. I'm just gonna say, in my opinion, in 18 to 36 months, you'll understand.
So why are we just dropping it off?
Hey, I'm gonna make a motion with adjourn. Marvin and Clark. All right.